Health and wellness as part of a broader topic of future of smart cities, spaces, communities is another topic close to our heart. We talk about health is the only true wealth, and also what we can measure, we can change. So, for example, a lot of wearables out there, wearable tech that are area that I'm quite involved with, the Aura ring that I'm wearing right now, which can measure. It's got 7 different sensors on it, something weighing just 4 grams with 7 sensors, like a gyroscope, a 3D accelerometer. It's got a HRV, heart rate variability, SpO2, oxygen saturation, and it can measure body temperature. So many other exciting things to sort of give you a good dashboard about your sleep, your readiness scores, and so forth. So there's a lot of things out there which we can work on. And what we'll do at the end, we will do a little bit of work on neurotech. Do a little experiment with that towards the end. But I wanted to sort of talk about this quantified self movement, which is where health and the qualitative well-being is paradigm is really promoting to reduce stress, anxiety, depression, loneliness, and so on, which is really the bigger than the pandemic itself. It's that epidemic which has been with us and blowing out of proportion today. So if you can shed some light on aspects you see as critical for that harmonious and holistic well-being for us to reach those modalities of flow states and bliss, for example, with highest productivity and attaining that state of equilibrium in life.
Beautiful. I liked the core concept, which is inspiring you to do all the other auxiliary stuff like measurements and adjustments, etc. Where you said health is the true wealth. Well said. You see, for the simple reason that I remember when I was in the final year of engineering, we got a new principal, or what you call as the president of the college. And he told something, it was just in a speech of, when we were like leaving the engineering course. He said, I wish you all go out to the world and do engineering and technological innovations which are relevant to humanity.
Right.
You see, and I didn't know that there can be a technology which can be irrelevant to humanity until I saw the world, you see. And I find that, yes, there are some, areas where technology becomes a self-serving beast. And I'm happy that we are harnessing technology and seeing means as a means. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not trying to intrude into scientific research. It's a means in itself, because that's a pursuit of knowledge. And pursuit of knowledge is an end in itself, no doubt. Technology, when it is addressing a human need, would actually make technology be in its right place, if I can ask.
Totally.
Is
It's
it
amplifying the good of the technology.
Exactly.
Because technology is neutral by per se, right?
Exactly.
It can be used either way.
Exactly.
And that's why the black mirror or the white mirror.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we actually looked at that flip and
Yeah.
said, how do we amplify the greater good of
Absolutely,
application of
sir.
technology? Yeah.
And I think the purpose of any endeavor beyond me or even within me should be for the better physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health of either me and others, or others and hence me, or me hence others. You see, when we move from I to we, I can actually do it in many ways, where I serve to expand myself, where the concept of myself instead of a small circle is expanded. That's why we have marriage as a lovely institution, or even living with the partners or whatever is called nowadays. I'm a little old fashioned, so pardon me if the language is not right. Suddenly I have expanded myself to be double. My circle of I has become me and my partner. And then we either adopt or get children, the circle expands. You see? So it's just I again. But that I included a we, which I defined as my family. So I to we has to go through this bridge of my. Right?
Yes.
I can't just jump suddenly make I zero and we full. And I need to relate. That's what is called relation. How do I relate? I relate by identifying an I with something bigger. And that identifying I with bigger is become the starting phase is my. So it's my family, my council, my state, my country. Why stop there? My world. my universe.
Exactly.
And then I become a true we.
Hmm.
Right?
Spot on.
So that's expansion of consciousness.
Yes.
Without having to negate I.
Mm-hmm.
I would like just the I to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think people will feel more palatable.
Yes.
And this is the same thing, but
Totally.
the way in which we look at it.
Exactly.
So how do I elevate my consciousness to expand my mind and hence become a bigger we?
Yes.
That's what I saw in one of your lines, that we elevate the consciousness and awareness of people to realize what I took for granted should not be.
Yeah.
So I took my flora and fauna for granted. And your entire premise of the documentary which Mr. Roy made is a beautiful documentary, because we take first thing we take for granted, at least in the culture I came from, is your father and mother.
Yes.
Right? They're there. So I stop caring for them because they're there. And then I have come to a consciousness, they are there for me. And I should not take them for granted. I should take them as granted to me.
Right.
So I feel grateful. That's one of your line items there. Yes. Gratitude. You see, gratitude can make me move from me to my to we. You see?
Spot on.
That's where I think we need to build. I'm thinking of me as trying to teach people and talk to people and engage with people.
Yeah.
I think my bit is to actually reinforce this gratitude and my connection. And I used to wonder, let me use this,
yes.
if you give me a little time.
Please.
When I have a handful of rice in my hand, which is what we eat in India,
Yeah.
who are all connected with this handful of rice? Where did this rice come from? Maybe paddy fields in some rural area. And the paddy fields would have been mended by some 10 farmers. It would have been packed by the wives of farmers and carried by 2 bullocks or a van. The van is made by many people, and then it is kept in a warehouse. It is protected from rats. Then I realized, oh my God, for my handful of rice, almost entire existence has served me. I might have paid $1 for this, but $1 can't satisfy my hunger. It's the rice which satisfies my hunger. So that was a moment of realization where I realized that one handful of rice connects me with the entire universe now. Which means there were toads and frogs keeping the insects at bay in the fields. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And there were storks and eagles keeping the toads at bay. So my goodness.
Even the water and the air. I mean, everything being interconnected, right?
And we call it as food web.
Yeah.
I think we should call it eco web. Which means even my climate impacts life.
Yeah.
And then I realized I am connected. So I need to be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's for me.
Yes.
It's for I.
Totally. Yeah.
And then it becomes my responsibility, hence we.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people would think it as a self-negation, which is not true. It is self-reaffirmment to the highest degree of I am not an island. It is we, which makes I.
Yes.
And how do I relate to we from I? It is through gratitude and awareness. So when somebody said, Ram, you just got the highest award of some practical training, whatever, gold medal, etc. When I say, I got the gold medal, what does that I mean? My mother's genes, my father's genes, my grandfather's genes, my great-grandfather's genes, at least 3 generations up, they have transmitted this intelligence, whatever they call it.
Right.
Is it mine? No, it's my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, right? And did I somehow intuitively know how to count? My kindergarten teacher told me to count.
Right. Yeah.
And did I know how to solve equations? Middle school teacher.
Yeah.
And if I had no food, would I have studied? My mother labored for the food, and the food, many labored for it.
Yes.
So finally, when I dissect the I, it's not there.
Right.
It's a phantom.
Yeah.
It's a sum total of everything which is not I.
Yes. Totally.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
The genes are not me.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
The mental strength I have is because of the values of my culture.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And the physical strength I have is because of sacrifice, or rather contribution is a better word, of so many. So when I actually look at who that I is, it is everything else except me.
Right.
In a flash, I become we.
Yeah. Wow.
You see?
I just love it. Wow.
This is what is an awareness which comes, and it comes from living with a person who is in the constant state of we.
Yes.
That's
yes.
the power of being at the feet of a realized master.
Wow.
And it
Yeah,
came in
yeah,
a second. And I said, what a foolish way to say I.
yeah.
I exists as a letter in the alphabet. But in reality,
Yes.
there is no I,
There's no I. Yeah.
right?
So
When
true.
you dissect the I, it is everything except the I.
Yes. Amazing. I
That's
mean,
why our,
that.
can I use the word timeless wisdom, which is also
Yes,
ancient?
of course.
It
Yeah.
calls I a phantom.
Yeah. Right.
That Aham
Mm-hmm.
is a phantom.
Phantom. Right.
You inquire,
Mm-hmm.
it leads you to that one,
Mm-hmm.
which is abundance called consciousness.
Right. Right.
That's the path of inquiry.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. I think you've really nailed it down to that point of that aham brahmasmi, that thou art, right? You are that part of that we, the big
That's the
super
inquiry's final
consciousness.
state.
Yeah, 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 totally.
And it's all because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
be with a person who lives that values.
Yes, yes.
And conviction begets conviction.
Yeah,
Experience begets experience. Compassion begets compassion. Love begets love.
totally, totally.
And you get positively infected with
Yes.
it.
Oh,
And I'm so
amazing.
grateful to my teacher for that.
Right, right, right. No, it was just amazing wisdom there you shared. Because when you were touching about the genetic point of obviously that what we have the genes from our historic past, but also then epigenetics today, how it sort of combinedly makes what we are as a whole, and how we can influence with the right positive thought and that deep philosophy to change the and have that outcome for the right future that we want. So with that, we've actually, it's very well aligned with a global smart cities project that I'm involved with called Habtropolis.
Okay.
Very much aligned with those lines which you said about putting humanity at the core, and where we bring biophilic design, so nature, flora, fauna, everything, every aspect of the world, the cosmic sort of living beings coming together, and well-being really at the top of that focus.
Absolutely.
So that's where I see, and again, I think there are certain countries who've even brought like gross happiness quotient, the GHQ, when we talked about happiness
I
at,
think
at
Bhutan
work.
started it,
Bhutan,
isn't it?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And many other countries, like when we talk about the top happy
Scandinavian.
countries, Scandinavian countries like Finland and so forth,
Denmark.
and Switzerland and so forth have been ranked very high up on the list. So what are those key traits that they've had? And I think there's a lot of learnings like that we're trying to learn from and see what do we bring that together. And I think deep within that is that spiritual wisdom,
Absolutely,
which is not to be missed.
That's
So
the key sponsor
exactly
for all these.
exactly.
And
Yes.
I'm particularly very impressed, or impressed is a big grandiose word,
Yeah.
moved, I could say, by you putting humanness and humanity in the center of such wonderful technological developments, which is going to contribute to humanity. And if the vision is not lost, we won't be trapped.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we in Hindi, Kabir Das ji Sahib
Yes.
says,
Haji.
"Byaj do ke mul ko baithe." The mul means, in English, it means in the interest of multiplying the interest.
Right.
I completely lost the capital money. You
Wow.
see,
Yes.
and so unless we have such a vision,
Yes.
which drives technology, at times technology can become a little bit of a self-serving tool, though
Yes.
technology is neutral.
Exactly.
And I'm very glad that you work with this humanity as the center, as a wonderful direction for us to build technology, get investments and resources around it, so that we build a habnopolis, is what you call it?
Habtropolis.
Habtropolis.
Yeah.
Habtropolis.
It's a 10-year vision for future smart city.
We
A
need
greenfield.
that. We need that, so that people can realize that technology is there to serve humanity, humanness, I, and hence we.
Yeah.
You see, that would be a great vision for the
That'd be
future.
great to have your
Very
blessings
excited
and
to
your
see
grace
such
to,
a vision
that's-
coming into action.
Thank you so much.
Anurag ji.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.